Hi everyone! I just found the most incredible place to just sit and look at the view, and I'm going to turn this around in a minute. Have you ever just sort of stopped wherever you are, maybe in a park, and seen something beautiful, and it's caused you to just take a break from whatever you're doing and maybe just sit a moment and take in the view? And as you're taking in the view, you start thinking about all these things you've never thought about before, or maybe haven't thought about in a very long time. And it's almost as though you're mesmerized by the beautiful view you're looking at. And it's so not just inspiring, but it's incredibly thought-provoking. Well, that just happened to me, and I'm going to turn this around and show you what I'm looking at. And I'm still in the same park in the previous video or videos. And I'm going to share something I never told anybody ever before. And heck, why not? I'm almost 70. I'm sharing everything on my channel, and I absolutely love it. And I'm very curious to hear if some of you feel the same way. And yes, my hair is going kind of crazy, but so what? It's going to do what it's going to do, right? So I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to ask all of you if you not only believe there's a purpose in your life, but if you know what that purpose is. Because I've always known what mine is, but I've never told anybody. But I'm going to do that in today's video, because what I believed as a 5-year-old has come true. And it doesn't even surprise me, believe it or not. And so with that, Maggie has just jumped up on the table. See? And I'm going to turn this around and show you the view and talk about what I'm talking about. Now, when I was very young, I knew there was a reason for my existence. And I didn't know what that reason was. But I suspected it had a lot to do with the things that I was experiencing. And at some level, some very deep knowing level, I knew I was meant to experience what I experienced. And I'm really curious, first of all, if that makes sense to all of you. And secondly, if you've ever felt the same way. And I'm going to show you these beautiful trees. Because I always knew that I was the observer in my life. And that I was meant to experience everything I experienced. And that all the hardships that I experienced was going to have an ultimate meaning. And that ultimate meaning would have to do with telling others about my experiences. And I'm curious to think if you guys, not you guys, I keep saying that, if any of you have ever felt that way, if you think it's nonsense, or if you believe in your own destiny or purpose. Because sometimes we don't even have to know what that purpose is. But I firmly believe that we all do have a purpose. And I have to get a shot of this because it's so dang cute. Maggie is sitting on the table, or standing on the table. And I think what she's trying to do, Mags, is tell me that it's time to go home. Maggie. By getting my attention. Maggie. And we're going to go home right after this video. Now, I'm going to share this because I've never told anyone that I have always known that I do have a specific purpose. And that purpose was to be the observer and the storyteller, in that order. And I knew that my family was predestined. How do I know that? I don't know how. I just knew. Maybe we choose before we're here on this planet. Maybe we choose if we want a difficult life or not. And maybe I did. Knowing my personality, I probably did. And I actually have a memory that I talk about in some videos back, where I believe I did have a choice, and I took on that challenge. Not for myself, but to fulfill a role that I was supposed to do. And when I'm no longer here, my first question is going to be, how did I do? Did I do okay? Did I fulfill my role? Did I fulfill my destiny? Because I really want to know. And hopefully I did a good job. And I'm laughing, but I'm serious at the same time. Now, I believe we all have destiny in our life. And I think to some extent, we do have the freedom of choice, but our choices are limited to what we can choose from. Think about that one. You can only choose what's available to choose from. It's like being in a supermarket. You can only buy a certain kind of bread if they have bread on the shelf, right? If they don't have any bread, you can't buy bread. And I know that sounds kind of dumb, but think about it this way. You're only given so much in life, and so much to work with, and so much to create, and so much to learn. And where does all that come from? It comes from this greater something, not from us. We are the receiver, and we are the experimenter, and we are the student, and we can also be the teacher. And so our role in this existence is multifaceted, and I find that absolutely fascinating. And what one person knows, I may never, and that's okay, because maybe that wasn't my destiny, and maybe that wasn't my purpose. And that's why I believe that's one reason we should never compare. Because we're all supposed to be different. We're all supposed to contribute in different ways to the big picture. Mighty stop. And I do believe there's a big picture, and that we're all a part of contributing to it. And the bigger picture we are all a part of, whether we know it or not, or whether we all try to be or not, or whether we all believe in it or not, or like it or not. We are creating the bigger picture every single moment. And I just find that fascinating. And I found this view incredibly thought-provoking. And I would love to hear if some of you ever stop and pause in a beautiful spot. And I think you do, because I've seen many videos where people capture a beautiful scenery. And why do we do that? We do that because it draws us in, because it's almost a reflection of a beauty within all of us that maybe we can't explain or we can't express, but we see it in nature, and sometimes we see it in other people. And I think that is what causes us to look inward and to reflect about our own purpose and our own meaning. And I think that's one reason nature is so beautiful, because nature is telling us, look, pay attention. Look at what's right in front of you this very moment. Look at how you don't need to speak or pay attention, but just be, and just let your surroundings calm you and inspire you and instill what you already have inside of you. And let the beauty in nature show you that simplicity is what it's all about. And there's something called fractals, Fractals. And I'm no scientist, but it has to do with the way nature creates duplicity, and how nature creates patterns and duplicates those very same patterns in everything. And if you look at a tree, that's exactly what a tree is doing. The branches come out, and then it splits off, and then it splits off again, and then it splits off again. And when you look down to the bottom of the tree, it's just the beginning of the tree. But that beginning of the tree has already planned to create these duplicate branches. And that's the tree's destiny. I know it. And that's our destiny too. To start out and grow and become all of the numerous things that we are capable of becoming. And if we only pay attention to nature, nature's already doing it. And why we don't realize this is because we think everything is complicated. We think we have to learn from computers and from AI and learn how to be authentic because we've forgotten, and learn how to pay attention to books and other people instead of just sitting here looking at a tree. I honestly believe it's that simple. And if we sit with the silence and listen to the breeze and the birds, with maybe the company of your best friend, Maggie, and just take a moment from your busy day and stop all your rushing around and stop all your worrying and stop with all the emails and the online stuff that consumes you, because most of it isn't true anyway. And most of it is fear-provoking, and it's stress-inducing, and it's to keep you emotionally bound to the nonsense, to keep you fearful. And my channel is to do the opposite. It's to take you back to yourself and to your own mind and to your own purpose, so that you can watch those videos and know that you are not what others tell you to be, but you are who you feel you are, and you are your destiny. Isn't that cool? I so believe that. And when I was a little girl, I'll tell you this, I used to sit on my bed. And interestingly enough, my bedroom on the second floor was in the very center of the house. Like it was the heart of the house. I could hear everything going on. We lived in a very old Victorian, built in the 1920s. And those old floorboards, I could hear everything, all the arguments going on in the kitchen, in the dining room, in the living room, and in the bedrooms on either side of me. And I just felt that I was purposely there so I could hear everything going on. And as crazy as that sounds, I told myself, even when I was little, that someday I would tell somebody what was going on between those walls. And I knew that my purpose was to one day tell my stories. Now, little did I know my stories would evolve over time, and my childhood stories would evolve into my adult stories, but they all affected the other. And my belief that my purpose was to tell my stories came true when I wrote my first book. And when I wrote that book, I thought back to when I was a little girl sitting on my bed, and I realized that I was making my dream come true, and that I was finally telling my story. And it felt like the most natural thing in the world, like this tree growing, that I had to start out down here, and I had to grow, and I had to experience all the things that my life held in store for me. And I had to find myself going in different directions and different branches of my life. And sometimes fall and sometimes break, but keep going. And who knows how much more I'll grow and how much more my thoughts will branch out, to use this analogy. But sitting here, it made me realize all of this. Isn't that amazing? And yes, I believe we all have our purpose, our own unique purpose. Just like every single leaf on this tree has a purpose. And without the leaves, I don't think the tree would live, because I think the leaves catch the sunlight and catch what the tree needs. And one leaf by itself cannot sustain the tree, but all the leaves together do. And I would love to hear what you think of that. And if you think nature is inspiring for you, and what you would think if you sat here for 20 minutes looking at this view, what would you think? I would love to hear that. What would you think back about your life? What do you think your purpose is? Have you fulfilled your purpose? Or are you still trying to find it? And if you are, maybe find a place like this. Or just watch this video again without the sound, and think if your purpose, see if your purpose comes to you just by watching. I would love to hear if that happens, because I think it could. I really do. And I think I'm now, in my old age, fulfilling my purpose, because I'm telling my stories. And I think all the hardships that I experienced were meant to be. And that I chose it. I really do. And the reason I believe I chose it was because I had the ability to withstand it all. And it's almost like going out in a snowstorm with a warm coat. I was prepared for my strengths to withstand it all. Because if I had not had my warm coat, I would have become too cold and not survived. And I think that's why we're given certain abilities to withstand what we're given to endure. And boy, that's a whole nother topic, isn't it? And one day I'll have something that will be something I can endure. And that will be the end of my life. And that's okay too, because that will be the ending of my purpose. And that will happen for all of us. And that's okay. Because if something has a beginning, it has to have an ending, right? But you know what? Things that have an ending can also have a new beginning. And I have a whole nother concept about that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you got a sense for what just sitting down on a picnic table on a beautiful fall day, just taking in the view, how simple things and being out in nature can really inspire you. And especially if you've got a very hectic life with endless demands that I used to, because I never had time to do this. I was lucky if I had 5 minutes to myself. And if I did have 5 minutes to myself, I was so exhausted, I could barely enjoy it. And that's the truth. So I know what it's like to be constantly on the go. But please find a beautiful spot. It might even be in your house, in your apartment. It might be a painting that you have. Or better yet, draw your own. Or look at a beautiful picture if you don't have a beautiful place like this to go to. And let your mind wander. And let your true self, your real self, without any negativity, without any hesitation, with any doubt, let that voice tell you what your purpose is. And I bet you know it already. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you found inspiration in my analogy with the tree. The video abruptly ended, so that's why I'm creating this ending. This video was entirely spontaneous, as all of mine are. But I especially like this one because I shared something I never had before. And this is one of the very many reasons I love my channel. And I'm always interested to read your thoughts, your comments. And I so want to be a bright light for all of you for as long as I can. And while I was creating that video, Sheppy took off and found something really disgusting to roll in, and he smells absolutely disgusting. So I have to heat up some water and give him a bath before I let him inside. So it might have been seaweed, it might have been something else, but he's probably very proud of himself, and he smells terrible. Thank you so much, everyone, and sorry for the abrupt ending. I have to understand my phone limitations a little bit more in terms of time and videoing. So please feel free to share your comments, your questions, and take care. And I hope you're all having a wonderful day wherever you are. And maybe you can find something beautiful to look at today and think about your purpose or create your own purpose. And I'd love to hear what that is. Take care, everyone.